considered that reaching your 80th birthday is like unlocking a door to a room you knew was there but had never entered? Inside, the laws of physics you've known your whole life seem to have been subtly rewritten. A gentle but undeniable shift that reshapes your world from the inside out. As you stand in the quiet light of your 9th decade, you might notice the world outside continues its frantic pace, but your experience of time and self has begun a profound transformation. It's a fascinating and universal journey. In fact, demographic studies show that the global population of individuals aged 80 and over has more than tripled in the last 3 decades, meaning more people than ever are navigating this unique chapter. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you really like what I'm doing here. I'd love to know where you're joining from and what time it is in your corner of the world. So please share that in the comments below. Now, let's begin to explore what happens when your body's very blueprint starts to undergo a rewrite. 1. You start to notice it in small, quiet ways at first. It isn't a sudden event, but a gradual redrawing of your physical capabilities. Remember how you used to carry all the groceries in one trip, or spend an entire afternoon in the garden without a second thought? Now, your body communicates with you in a different language, a language of limits and necessary pauses. This is the first and most tangible sign. Your body's physical blueprint undergoes a rewrite. This isn't about failure or giving up. It's a biological reality rooted in cellular changes that have been accumulating for decades. The process, known as cellular senescence, means that many cells in your body stop dividing but don't die off. Instead, releasing compounds that can accelerate the aging process in surrounding tissues. This directly impacts muscle mass, a condition called sarcopenia, which is a natural part of aging. You might find that your favorite armchair feels a little harder to get out of, or that a flight of stairs you once conquered without a thought now requires a more deliberate, conscious effort. Think of Michael, an 81-year-old retired engineer. He was always the one his family called to fix things, his hands strong and steady. Lately, he's found that while his mind knows exactly how to repair a leaky faucet, his body sometimes protests. He needs to take breaks, to sit down more often, and the strength he once took for granted now feels like a resource to be managed carefully. He describes it not as a loss, but as a negotiation with his own body. He's learning to respect its new terms. Doctors still believe that this process, while inevitable, is not a fixed sentence. The key is adaptation. Gentle, consistent movement is your greatest ally. Activities like Tai Chi, water aerobics, or simply a daily walk help maintain muscle tone, preserve joint flexibility, and support your cardiovascular system without overtaxing it. It's also about nutritional intelligence, ensuring your diet is rich in protein to support muscle health and calcium to fortify your bones becomes more critical than ever. You are learning to work with your body, not against it, honoring its history while supporting its present. 2. Just as your body learns to move with a more considered pace, you'll find your mind adopts a similar rhythm. This isn't a diminishment of your intellect or the vast library of wisdom you've built over a lifetime. Rather, it's the second sign. Your brain's processing speed finds a new, deliberate rhythm. The quick, reflexive mental leaps of your younger years are replaced by a more thoughtful, methodical pace. You might find yourself taking a moment longer to retrieve a name or a specific date, or needing a quieter environment to follow a complex conversation. This slowing is a natural reflection of how the brain matures. Over 80 years, your neural pathways have become incredibly dense and complex. While this wealth of experience is a source of great wisdom, it also means that retrieving a specific piece of information can be like navigating a vast, intricate library rather than a small bookshelf. The electrical signals between neurons may travel a fraction of a second slower, and the brain regions responsible for multitasking and filtering out distractions become less efficient. Consider Eleanor, an 83-year-old former librarian. Her world has always been built on words and stories. She still reads voraciously, but she now prefers to do so in the quiet of her living room rather than a busy cafe. When speaking with her grandchildren, she sometimes pauses, searching for the perfect word that used to be at the tip of her tongue. She describes it not as forgetting, but as waiting for the thought to complete its journey. Eleanor's experience is a beautiful illustration of this shift. Her cognitive depth is unchanged, but the time it takes to access it has lengthened slightly. She has learned to be patient with herself, embracing the pause as a moment for reflection rather than a point of frustration. Doctors still believe that you can actively support your brain's health through this phase. They emphasize that mental stimulation is crucial, but it should be enjoyable, not stressful. Engaging in activities that challenge your mind gently, like jigsaw puzzles, listening to a new genre of music, or trying a new recipe, helps forge new neural connections. Perhaps most importantly, staying socially engaged in calm settings, like Eleanor's small book club, provides vital cognitive exercise. Your brain, much like your body, thrives on connection and purposeful engagement, and nourishing it allows you to continue navigating your world with clarity and grace. 3. This new, deliberate rhythm in your mind naturally extends to how you engage with the world around you, influencing who you share your precious time and energy with. The large, bustling social gatherings of your past may start to feel more draining than energizing, leading you to a powerful and often misunderstood transformation. This is the third sign you'll notice. Your social landscape naturally simplifies. It's not necessarily a story of loss, but rather a profound reprioritization. After 80 years of navigating countless relationships at work, in your community, and within your family, you begin to instinctively filter for depth and authenticity. The social energy you once spread widely among a large circle of acquaintances is now conserved for the few connections that offer genuine comfort, understanding, and mutual respect. This change happens for many reasons. On a practical level, friends may have moved away or passed on, and your own physical stamina might make it challenging to keep up with a busy social calendar. But on a deeper, more psychological level, you are curating your life. Think of Arthur, an 84-year-old former community organizer who once thrived on being in the center of every town event. His calendar was filled with meetings, parties, and casual get-togethers. Today, his greatest pleasure comes from the quiet, predictable rhythm of his life. He has a standing weekly phone call with his son who lives overseas, a twice-weekly walk with his next-door neighbor, and a small group of friends he meets for coffee once a month. Arthur explains that he doesn't feel lonely. He feels focused. "I've spent a lifetime shaking hands and making small talk," he says. "Now, I just want to hold a conversation that matters." His experience shows that this isn't about isolation, but about intimacy. You trade the noise of the crowd for the clarity of a few trusted voices. Doctors still believe this social recalibration is a healthy and adaptive part of aging. The critical goal is to distinguish between chosen solitude and forced loneliness. They strongly encourage nurturing this smaller, core circle. It's about being intentional, scheduling regular calls, writing letters, or learning to use a simple video chat application can bridge physical distances. It might also mean joining one small, low-pressure group focused on a hobby you love, like gardening or reading, where connections can form organically around a shared interest. You are no longer building a wide network. You are tending to your inner circle, ensuring the connections that remain are strong, supportive, and deeply meaningful. 4. As your social world becomes more focused and intimate, you'll notice a parallel shift happening within your own perception. The world, which once burst forth with sharp edges, loud noises, and vibrant flavors, begins to communicate with you in a gentler, more subdued tone. This is not something you are imagining. It is the fourth undeniable sign of entering your 9th decade. Your sensory world begins to soften and mute. The 5 senses that have served as your lifelong interface with reality start to recalibrate. Your hearing might lose its crispness, making it difficult to disentangle a single voice from the background chatter of a family dinner. Your vision may require more light to read the morning paper, and the brilliant colors of a sunset might appear just a little less vivid. Even your senses of taste and smell, which connect you to the pleasures of food and the memories of home, can begin to fade, making familiar meals seem less appealing. This sensory decline is rooted in the natural aging of the intricate biological systems that govern perception. In the ear, tiny hair cells responsible for translating sound waves into neural signals can wither. In the eye, the lens becomes less flexible, and the pupils react more slowly to changes in light. Similarly, the number of taste buds decreases, and the olfactory receptors in your nose become less sensitive. Consider Beatrice, an 85-year-old who has always found joy in her garden. The scent of her roses after a spring rain and the vibrant reds and purples of her flowers were sources of deep contentment. Lately, she's noticed she has to lean in closer to catch the fragrance of the blossoms. The subtle differences in the shades of her petunias are harder to distinguish. At dinner time, the rich, savory stew she has cooked for 50 years now tastes a bit flat, and she finds herself reaching for the salt shaker more often. For Beatrice, this isn't a cause for despair, but for adaptation. She has started choosing flowers known for their powerful fragrances and has begun using bold herbs like rosemary and thyme in her cooking to awaken her sense of taste. Her experience highlights a crucial truth. This sensory shift is not an ending, but a new challenge in how you interact with the world. Doctors still believe that proactive adaptation is the most effective response. Regular eye and hearing exams are non-negotiable, as they can catch issues that are correctable. Modern hearing aids are remarkably discreet and effective, and proper lighting and magnifying tools can transform your visual world. When it comes to taste and smell, experimenting with textures and spices can re-engage your palate in new and exciting ways, moving beyond just salt and sugar. By acknowledging these changes and embracing the tools available, you can continue to participate safely and joyfully in the rich sensory tapestry of life. Thank. As the external world of sharp senses and broad social circles begins to soften, you'll discover that another world becomes richer and more vibrant than ever before. This is the 5th, and perhaps most profound, transformation you'll experience. Your inner world deepens, prioritizing meaning over noise. The relentless drive for achievement, accumulation, and external validation that may have defined your earlier decades gracefully fades into the background. In its place, a quiet, powerful urge for coherence, peace, and significance rises to the surface. You're no longer just living life from one day to the next. You are contemplating its shape, its texture, and its legacy. This powerful shift toward introspection is the natural culmination of the other changes you've been navigating. With less physical energy for constant activity and a mind that now favors deep reflection over quick reactions, you naturally turn your focus inward. You have lived long enough to see entire chapters of history unfold, to witness the full spectrum of human experience: love, loss, triumph, and regret. This vast reservoir of lived experience becomes your primary landscape for exploration. Think of Samuel, an 86-year-old who spent 40 years as a busy accountant. His days were once ruled by deadlines, balance sheets, and the constant hum of the city. Now, his most cherished part of the day is the late afternoon, when he sits by his living room window with a cup of tea, simply watching the world go by. He isn't bored, he is completely absorbed. He reflects on his own childhood, on the challenges and joys of raising his family, and on the simple, cyclical beauty of life he sees in the park across the street. He recently started keeping a small journal, not to record events, but to capture feelings and small observations, the way the morning light filters through the trees, a kind word exchanged with the mail carrier, a long-forgotten memory that surfaces with perfect clarity. He says he feels more connected to his true self now than he ever did when he was younger. Doctors still believe that actively nurturing this reflective state is immensely beneficial for your emotional well-being. It is not about dwelling on the past, but about integrating it. They encourage practices that facilitate this meaningful process, like sharing your life stories with younger family members, creating a bridge of wisdom between generations. It could also mean engaging in simple, mindful activities like listening to music, tending to a single houseplant, or just sitting in silence, allowing your thoughts to settle. These practices help reduce anxiety and foster a deep sense of gratitude for the present, allowing you to find a richness in simply being that you never had time for while you were busy doing. And so, you find yourself here, in this unique and sacred chapter of your life's great story. The journey through your 80s, as you can now see, is not a simple, gentle slope into twilight, but rather a complex and beautiful dance of profound adaptation and quiet discovery. Your body, the faithful vessel that has carried you this far, may now ask for more consideration, speaking to you in a new and intimate language of rest and mindful movement. Your thoughts, enriched by decades of experience, may travel a more scenic route to their destination, but they arrive carrying the unmistakable weight of true wisdom. The bustling landscape of your social world naturally condenses into a precious, powerful inner circle, and as the sensory volume of life is turned down, you are finally able to hear the subtle, beautiful music of your own inner world. This final, graceful turning inward is not a retreat from life, but an arrival at its very core. It is the moment where you can finally sit with the full and complete story of you, holding it in your hands, and find a deep and abiding peace within its pages. You are learning to savor the quiet moments, to find a universe of joy in a shared smile, a warm cup of tea, or the familiar comfort of your favorite chair. You have weathered the storms and have truly earned this calm. This is a time not for fear, but for grace. It is a time to be gentle with yourself, to honor the incredible, resilient journey you have traveled, and to know that your very presence in this world is a gift. You can do this. Keep going. Thank you for watching the video. If you find it interesting, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like or leave a comment if you have any suggestions. Wish you good health.